I'll do what I must. Excellent was exhilarating.
You little shit!
I love a good fight.
My blade is thirsting for blood. Fuck off. We rise victorious once again.
That went very well.
Yes, this is the place. Be cautious.
So, how did they manage to get in and overtake you?
Well, let me think a moment. I'm still in a bit of a haze from the ordeal. I believe they came in separately throughout the day and spread out across the entire museum. They never really interacted during the day, and some of them even left, but apparently must have climbed to the balcony entrance and were let back in and then hid. Another must have laid low in the cellar or armory when we weren't looking. Eventually, all the other patrons left for the day, and it appeared that the last of them was walking out when they suddenly barred the front door. Before I could fully draw my sword, one of them appeared behind me and knocked me on the head. Everything started spinning, and I heard a yell and a sudden groan from Orien in the office. Someone shot him with a dart laced with a sleeping draught. I saw several figures wandering about, but my vision was still pretty unclear. But they were only there for about 20 minutes or so, I'd say. Eventually, I regained my senses to find myself tied up in the main hall. But by that time, they were gone. The other guards, they weren't so lucky. I heard fighting in various halls, which quickly died down. Afterwards, I didn't find any of them left alive.
They cleared this entire place out in less than half an hour.
They always were quite efficient once a plan was in place.
What I do.
They aren't your typical smash and grab robbers.
How in blazes did they get everything out the front gate?
They didn't. After Orion came around, he untied me, and we quickly moved to investigate the situation. Orion says that they employed some forms of magic. Evidently, they had strong feather enchantments, and moved large amounts at a time up through the Hall of Heroes' upper balcony, and around the back patio of the safe house, and used some levitation charms to toss the items over the railing, where they slowly fell to the water below, where some of the thieves were waiting to receive them and send them to a waiting cart on the shore. Since it was dark, they were able to slip around the building without drawing any attention. There, some of the relics are here.
Note from Jalal. Once you manage to get out of solitude with the hall, make sure you find the darkest, deepest hole you can to keep it in until things die down. We'll make our way to Engelman's Rest and get some of the loot moving over the mountains right away for home. There is so much of it, we can't possibly hope to move it all at once. So, I will be here for a time. Jalal.
I found this note.
Oh, good. Yes, Engelman's Rest. I know where that is. Jalal? Jalal himself is here? That isn't good.
Who is Jalal?
Jalal is the leader of the group of brigands I was with, and if he's here, we can be sure that Engelman's Rest will be anything but hospitable. But by the sound of it, they already have a caravan bound for Hammerfell with some of the artifacts. We should move quickly to the pass near Falkreath before they make it out of Skyrim. Then we can double back to Engelman's Rest.
I'll scout ahead and meet you there.
Is it just me, or is this place miserable as hell?
Good. They are still here. Camped out for the night by the looks of it. If we can move in quickly, we can take them by surprise.
No, let's draw them out and pick them off.
Yes, that is smart. No telling what they have at the camp. I'm with you.
Is someone there? Come here and do your worst. I'm already lost. You fuck your life. This ends now. Hell yeah! You really don't want to fuck with me! Mercy! You don't know who you're messing with. Let's see what else is around here.
Was exhilarating.
Excellent. That should account for the majority of the stolen artifacts. Whatever is left is surely at Engelman's Rest. I'll mark it on your map.
What can we expect in there?
Well, it's an old Nordic ruin, so it likely will come with its own hazards. But if Jalal himself is there, we can be certain he'll be ready. Jalal is renowned for his use of effective ambushes, so be careful as we navigate through the ruin. I'll try to bring up the rear, and warn you if I see anything out of the ordinary. He may have employed a few traps as well too, so be careful.
Hold up just a moment.
I don't like the feeling of this place. There is something sinister about it. Listen, I know I am in no place to make requests right now, but I'd like to ask you for something all the same. When we encounter Jalal, allow me a moment to confront him. I may be able to make him stand down and allow us to recover the rest of the relics without further bloodshed. And in the end, despite the fact that I want nothing more to do with him, I do feel that I at least owe him the chance to face justice, rather than facing the blade.
I suppose I can give you a moment, but if I see any funny business...
Thank you. Your trust is not misplaced. I will make it quick. He will stand down or be put down.
You want to do this the hard way? Fine.
We are routed! Fall back!
As easy as that.
Exhilarating.
You won't get away so easily.
Victory is yours. I submit.
Oblivion, take you!
Mercy!
You bloody did it!
I love a good fight.
Let's fucking go. I've gone worse, I suppose.
Exhilarating.
That's the end of it.
Someone there?
Huh? How did they find us? Yes! Great bloody job!
Avram, so we meet again. It has been too long.
I would never have expected to have seen you here, Jalal. Usually you send your lackeys to do your dirty work.
Oh, you cut me to the quick, Avram. With a score this grand to be had, I had to come personally to oversee it. If you want something done right, after all, you do it yourself, no? Then I come to find out that you were involved, and I had a chance to bring you back into the fold. Well, I just had to come.
I will never again be a part of your paltry group of robbers. I left that life behind in Hammerfell. I have a new life here, and I want you out of it.
Oh, but Avram, you can never turn your back on blood. We have been through so much together, and we are brothers after all.
Our father would be ashamed to see what we have become, Jalal. I am trying every day to make up for what I did, what we did. And that life in Hammerfell no longer has any meaning for me, but a vast regret.
Well, my brother, that is sad to hear. If we are truly no longer brothers, and I cannot convince you to rejoin me, then I have no other choice but to end you. Farewell, my dear brother.
This ends now! Victory is yours!
You want some more? Stand, take you. Time to end this. You won't get away so easily.
Come on! Come on! No more! I yield! I yield!
You have to do better than that.
I do what I do, and if you don't like it,
That's your
tough.
best, huh?
Just a scratch!
We are routed! Fall back!
You have to do better than that.
That was exhilarating.
I recovered the last of the artifacts.
Fantastic. I'm sorry Jalal caused you such headaches.
So Jalal was your brother?
Yes. We grew up in Hammerfell together, and when our father died when we were young, we had to do what we needed to get by. And so we turned to petty robbery and cons. It wasn't until we began to kill in the course of our actions that I even began to question it. Jalal was always very persuasive in getting me to believe what we were doing was always justified. I suppose that younger brothers are always prone to look up to their elder brothers. If you don't mind, I'm going to stay behind and take some time to bury my brother. Then I'll return to the museum and face my punishment.
No punishment is necessary. We recovered what was lost.
Thank you, my friend. You are ever so virtuous. I'll see you back at the museum in a few days.
Good shelter. It'd be clear out.
Bring it on! Fall to my blade!
You're a bit distracting in a fight. I mean, I don't like the look of this.
You will feel the wrath of my blade!
Never cared for this place. Bunch of stuffy politicians and nobles.
It's going to take days to clean this up.
We've recovered the museum's artifacts.
Oh, dear. Are you serious? You managed to recover all of them? Every single stolen relic? Oh my, that is fantastic news! I'll get right to work restoring the museum to its proper glory. It will take me a few days, but I'll get things back to normal. Do return soon.
What is it, boy? What do you want?
I'll make sure you
It's me who went not in the fight, and I'm gonna have to stop fighting with my eyes closed so I don't get distracted.
You'll die this day.
The next blood to be spilt here will be your own. Good job.
You look at home in these forests.
Hello again.
How do you feel about me?
Sometimes I wonder about you and me.
Oh, please tell me more.
Well, we're great together, you know? A perfect pair.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad we met, Kaidan.
Good. I'm glad.
Let's rest here.
Aye. Hey there, stranger.
Have you ever been in love?
I thought I was, once or twice. When I was a little younger and a lot stupider. There was a noble girl I was sweet on when I was a lad. She was married off to some courtier. Another lass later on who turned out to be trouble. Lust or infatuation, it might have been, but I wouldn't call it love. What about you? Ever been shot with that arrow?
The same as you, never anything serious.
You make me sound like a right libertine. Something I find myself moving away from daily.
Until next time. There's something the matter, Dragonborn.
Let's talk.
I'm at your service.
Good morning, Kaidan. How did you sleep?
Do you ever get tired from running through my mind all night?
What was I doing in your dreams, Kaidan?
Maybe I should have just kept my bloody mouth shut, eh?
Before the Ages of Man, by Icantar of Shimmerine, chronicles the major events of the Dawn and Merethic eras. Timeline Series, Volume 1. Before man came to rule Tamriel, and before the chronicles of the historians recorded the affairs of the rulers of Tamriel, the events of our world are known only through myths and legends, and through the divinely inspired teachings of the 9 divines. For convenience, historians divided the distant ages of prehistory into 2 broad periods of time, the Dawn Era and the Merethic Era. The Dawn Era. The Dawn Era is that period before the beginning of mortal time, when the feats of the gods take place. The Dawn Era ends with the exodus of the gods and magic from the world at the founding of the Adamantine Tower. The term Merethic comes from the Nordic, literally meaning era of the elves. The Merethic Era is the prehistoric time after the exodus of the gods and magic from the world at the founding of the Adamantine Tower, and before the arrival of Ysgramor the Nord in Tamriel. The following are the most notable events of the Dawn Era, presented roughly in sequence as it must be understood by creatures of time such as ourselves. The cosmos formed from the Orbis, chaos or totality, by Anu and Padume. Akatosh, or Oriel, formed and time began. The gods, known as Et Ada, formed. Lorcan convinced, or tricked, the gods into creating the mortal plane of Nirn. The mortal plane was at this point highly magical and dangerous. As the gods walked, the physical makeup of the mortal plane and even the timeless continuity of existence itself became unstable. When Magic, or Magnus, architect of the plans for the mortal world, decided to terminate the project, the gods convened at the Adamantine Tower, Direni Tower, the oldest known structure in Tamriel, and decided what to do. Most left when Magic did. Others sacrificed themselves into other forms so that they might stay, they known as the Elnofe. Lorcan was condemned by the gods to exile into the mortal realms, and his heart was torn out and cast from the tower. Where it landed, a volcano formed. With magic, in the mythic sense, gone, the cosmos stabilized. Elven history, finally linear, began. Merethic Era, 2500. The Merethic Era. The Merethic Era was figured by early Nord scholars as a series of years numbered in reverse order, backward from their beginning of time. The founding of the Cameron dynasty, recorded as year 0 of the First Era. The prehistoric events of the Merethic Era are listed here with their traditional Nordic Merethic dates. The earliest Merethic date cited by King Harold's scholars was Merethic Era 2500, the Nordic reckoning of the first year of time. As such, the Merethic Era extends from ME 2500 in the distant past to ME 1, the year before the founding of the Cameron dynasty and the establishment of the White Gold Tower as an independent city-state. According to King Harold's bards, Merethic Era 2500 was the date of construction of the Adamantine Tower on Balfiera Island in High Rock, the oldest known structure on Tamriel. This corresponds roughly to the earliest historical dates given in various unpublished Elvish chronicles. During the early Merethic Era, the aboriginal beast peoples of Tamriel, the ancestors of the Khajiit, Argonian, Orcish, and other beast folk, lived in pre-literate communities throughout Tamriel. In the middle of the Merethic Era, the Aldmeri refugees, mortals of Elven origin, left their doomed and now lost continent of Aldmeris, also known as Old Elnofe, and settled in southwestern Tamriel. The first colonies were distributed at wide intervals on islands along the entire coast of Tamriel. Later inland settlements were founded primarily in fertile lowlands in southwest and central Tamriel. Wherever the beast folk encountered the elves, the sophisticated, literate, technologically advanced Aldmeri cultures displaced the primitive beast folk into the jungles, marshes, mountains, and wastelands. The Adamantine Tower was rediscovered and captured by the Durrani, a prominent and powerful Aldmeri clan. The Crystal Tower was built on Somerset Isle, and later, White Gold Tower in Cyrodiil. During the Middle Merethic Era, Aldmeri explorers mapped the coasts of Vardenfell, building the First Era High Elven wizard towers at Ald Radania, Balfell, Tal Arun, and Tel Mora in Morrowind. It was also during this period that Eilid, or Wild Elven, settlements flourished in the jungles surrounding the White Gold Tower, present-day Cyrodiil. Wild Elves, also known as the Heartland High Elves, preserved the Dawn-era magics and language of the Elnofe. Ostensibly a tribute land to the High King of Alinor, the Heartland's long lines of communication from the Somerset Isles sovereignty effectively isolated Cyrodiil from the High Kings at Crystal Tower. The late Middle Merethic Era is the period of the High Velothi culture. The Chimere, ancestors of the modern Dunmer, or Dark Elves, were dynamic, ambitious, long-lived elven clans devoted to fundamentalist ancestor worship. The Chimere clans followed the prophet Veloth out of the ancestral elven homelands in the southwest to settle in the lands now known as Morrowind. Despising the secular culture and profane practices of the Dwemer, the Chimere also coveted the lands and resources of the Dwemer, and for centuries provoked them with minor raids and territorial disputes. The Dwemer, or dwarves, free-thinking, reclusive elven clans devoted to the secrets of science, engineering, and alchemy established underground cities and communities in the mountain range, later the Velothi Mountains, separating modern Skyrim and Morrowind. The late Merethic Era marks the precipitous decline of Velothi culture. Some Velothi settled in villages near declining and abandoned ancient Velothi towers. During this period, Velothi high culture disappeared on Vardenfell Island. The earliest Dwemer freehold colonies date from this period. Degenerate Velothi devolved into tribal cultures which, in time, evolved into the modern great houses of Morrowind, or persisted as the barbarian Ashlander tribes. The only surviving traces of this tribal culture are scattered Velothi towers and Ashlander nomads on Vardenfell Island. The original First Era High Elven wizard towers along the coast of Tamriel were also abandoned at about this time. It was in the late Merethic Era that the pre-literate humans, the so-called Nedic peoples, from the continent of Atmora, also Altmora, or the Elderwood in Aldmeris, migrated and settled in northern Tamriel. The Nord cultural hero Iskramor, leader of a great colonizing fleet to Tamriel, is credited with developing a runic transcription of Nordic speech based on Elven principles, and so Ysgramor is considered the first human historian. Ysgramor's fleet landed at Hyserek Head, at the extreme northern tip of Skyrim's Broken Cape. The Nords built there the legendary city of Sarthal. The elves drove the men away during the Night of Tears, but Ysgramor soon returned with his 500 companions. Also during the late Merethic era, the legendary immortal hero, warrior, sorcerer, and king, variously known as Pelinel Whitestrake, Harold Harrybreeks, Ysmir, Hans the Fox, etc., wandered Tamriel, gathering armies, conquering lands, ruling, and then abandoning his kingdoms to wander again. Boethius Proven, by Anonymous. An account of a fatal summoning of Boethia. The following account is true. May it serve as a warning to those with ears to hear and hearts to know. On a certain day, at a certain time, the faithful gathered to perform certain rituals, hoping to gain a glimpse of their master. The day was correct, and the summoning true. Slashing a smoking tear through the veil, she, her very self, appeared before them, terrible and resplendent. She came arrayed in ebony darker than a moonless night, wielding a blade burning hotter than the surface of the sun. And though she wore the guise of a Dunmer warrior queen, she towered above them like a statue carved from the Red Mountain itself. "Why have you disturbed me?" Surprised, the first among them prayed. "O Boetia, prince of plots, deceiver of nations, queen of shadows, goddess of destruction, we come to worship thee." She looked down upon her followers, gathered to bear witness. Frowning, she asked the first, "Tell me, you who profess to know me, how shall I know you?" Afeared, he exclaimed, "Each night I pray to thee, each night I call out thy wondrous names. Surely thou must recognize the sound of my voice, thy most devoted of believers." She frowned and let out a long sigh, and then of a sudden he was gone, the air from her lungs dispersing him. Turning to the second, she asked, "And you, how shall I measure the worth of your existence?" Stunned by the power of her voice, he bowed before her darkening visage. She clapped her hands, and he too was gone. To the third, "And you, tell me, how shall I know you apart from such as were they, of whom there is no trace?" Shaken and speechless from the nullifications of his brethren, he whispered, "Have mercy upon us." She blinked twice. Once, he was in agony. Twice, he was destroyed. She cast a withering glance across those remaining and said, "I do not grant mercy." And so it was with the others, she putting them to proof, they offering none. Finally she came to me, eyes aglow with anger, tongue wet with hate, and said, "Of all my believers, but two remain. Tell me, second to last, with what shall you prove your existence?" Without hesitation, I drew forth my blade and buried it in the chest of the other who stood beside me, and without fear replied, "Ask him whose blood now sprouts from my blade if I exist." She smiled, and the gates of oblivion opened between her teeth, and then she said, "Tell me, now last of my followers, wherefore do you remain where the others do not?" I retrieved my blade and offered it up, saying, "I am alive because that one is dead. I exist because I have the will to do so, and I shall remain as long as there are signs of my handiwork, such as the blood dripping from this blade." Accepting my gift, she nodded and said, "Indeed." If in the reading your blood boils in your veins, and your mind blazons with fire, then Boethia calls you. It is then most wise to heed her call. Find her on the mount which overlooks Windhelm. Meet us there, and be tested.
The Death of a Wanderer, by Anonymous. A tale of an Argonian's unfortunate venture into a Draugr crypt. The last time I saw the old Argonian, I was taken by how alive he seemed, even though he was in the throes of death. "The secret," he said, "of staying alive is not in running away, but swimming directly at danger. Catches it off guard." "Is that how you managed to find this claw?" I asked, brandishing the small carving as if it were a weapon. I had found it among his possessions, which I was helping him to divvy amongst his beneficiaries. "Should it also go to your cousin, dies from below?" At this, his mouth widened, exposing his fangs. If I hadn't known him as long as I had, I would think he was snarling, but I knew that to be a smile. He croaked a few times to attempt laughter, but ended up wheezing and coughing, his rancid blood spraying across the bedsheets.
Do you know what that is?
He asked between coughing fits. I've heard stories, I answered, the same as you. Looks like one of the claws for opening the ceiling doors in the ancient crypts. I've never seen one before myself.
Then you know I would only wish that thing upon a mortal enemy. Giving it to my cousin would just be encouraging him to run into one of those barrows and get split by a Draugr blade.
Well, so you want me to have it then? I joked. Where did you even get this one?
My kind can find things that your people assumed were gone. Drop something in the bottom of a lake and a Nord will never see it again. Amazing what you can find along the bottoms.
He was staring at the ceiling now, but the way his fogged eyes darted around, I could tell he was seeing his memories instead of the cracked stones above us.
Did you, ever try to use it?
I whispered to him, hoping he could hear me through his fog.
Of course,
he snapped, suddenly lucid. His eyes widened and fixed on me.
Where do you think I got this?
He barked, tearing his tunic open to show a white scar forming a large star-shaped knot in the scales beneath his right shoulder.
Blasted Draugr got the drop on me. Just too many of them.
I felt awful, since I knew how much he hated talking about the battles he had been in. To him, it was enough that he had survived, and any stories would amount to boasting. We both sat quietly for several minutes, his labored breathing the only sound. He was the one to break the silence.
You know what always bothers me?
He asked.
Why they even bothered with the symbols.
The what?
The symbols, you fool. Look at the claw.
I turned it over in my hand. Sure enough, etched into the face were 3 animals. A bear, an owl, and some kind of insect. What do the symbols mean, dear Kaza?
The ceiling doors. It's not enough just to have the claw. They are made of massive stone wheels that must align with the claw's symbols before they'll open. It's a sort of lock, I suppose. But I don't know why they even bothered with them. If you had the claw, you also had the symbols to open the door. So, why?
He was broken up by a coughing fit. It was the most I had heard him speak in months, but I could tell how much of a struggle it was. I knew his mind, though, and helped the thought along. Why even have a combination if you're going to write it on the key?
Exactly. But as I lay bleeding on that floor, I figured it out. The Draugr are relentless, but far from clever. Once I was downed, they continued shuffling about, to no aim, no direction, bumping against one another and the walls.
So?
So the symbols on the doors weren't meant to be another lock, just a way of ensuring the person entering was actually alive and had a functioning mind.
Then the doors
were never meant to keep people out. They were meant to keep the Draugr in.
And with that, he fell back asleep. When he awoke several days later, he refused to talk about the Draugr at all, and would only wince and clutch his shoulder if I tried to bring them up.
Ah, it's nice to be warm again. I like it here.
How come you're in Winterhold? My pa says people like you are the reason no one lives here anymore.
Come on in. Just stoked the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out. I told you what you wanted to know. What else could you want? Until next time.
Now here's a woman I'm glad to see.
Do you know where I could find Isabel Rolane?
Oh no. Dagger's been talking at you, hasn't he? Gotten you roped into his little plan to fix Ranmir's life. I'll tell you what I told him. Stay out of it. It's none of your business. Those aren't folks you want to get tangled up with.
I'm just trying to help.
You'll wind up getting yourself killed. Dagger shouldn't have said a word about it. I love the man, bless his heart, but he doesn't know the whole story. One night, Ranmir was in here like always, drinking himself to death. When I told him there was no more hunting brew, that he drank all of it, he got angry. He ranted at me, how I didn't know what he's been through, how Isabel broke his heart when she ran off with some thief named Vex. He said he'd even gone to Riften to try and find the bastard. I think maybe he was hoping they'd just kill him, and that'd be the end of it. Dagger never heard any of this, and I chose to keep it to myself. I'm only telling you so you don't get into trouble. Riften and thieves means trouble. Just leave it alone.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Isabel Rolane?
No, there isn't, and I suggest you leave it at that. I don't want to see anyone get hurt over this. Until next time.
A fine day to you, friend. May you die with a sword in your hands.
I know of your deeds, and am honored to address a member of the Companions.
Good dog.
Azura's wisdom to you, friend. Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward. All right, then.
Heard about you and your honeyed words.
Cross the bridge at your own peril. The way is dangerous, and the gate will not open. You shall not gain entry.
Why are you out here?
I am here to assist those seeking the wisdom of the college. And if, in the process, my presence helps to deter those who might seek to do harm, so be it. The more important question is, why are you here?
May I enter the college?
Perhaps. But what is it you expect to find within?
I want to unravel the mysteries of Aetherius.
Ah, the immortal plane. It is said to be the source of all magic. This is a noble goal, indeed. It would seem that the college has what you seek. The question now is, what can you offer the college? Not just anyone is allowed inside. Those wishing to enter must show some degree of skill with magic. A small test, if you will.
I think we both know I'll succeed here.
You know, I think you're right. I think you'll be a superb addition to the college. Welcome, apprentice. I'll lead you across the bridge. Once you're inside, you'll want to speak with Mirabelle Irvine, our master wizard. Please, follow me.
You know, Harker's confused the fuck out of me. I mean, how can something that fucking ugly taste so fucking good?
Huh? Much knowledge lies within the college's walls. Mirabelle will be waiting for you.
The chanting services are one of the few things...
I believe I've made myself rather clear.
Yes, of course. I'm simply trying to understand the reasoning behind the decision.
You may be used to the Empire bowing to your every whim, but I'm afraid you'll find the Thalmor received no such treatment here. You are a guest
think
of
the
the
college
college
is due for a
here at the
change in
pleasure of the
leadership.
Archmage. I hope you appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, of course. The Archmage has my thanks.
Very good. Then we're done here. Welcome to the college.
I was told to come see you.
Another new student. I'm surprised at how many of you there are lately. Well,
Good dog.
first you'll need these. While you're not required to wear them, you may find them more to your liking than your current clothes. I'll give you a brief tour and then we'll get you to your first class. Are you ready to begin?
I'd love to have a look around.
Wonderful. Please follow me and don't wander off. The College of Winterhold has been a fixture in Skyrim for thousands of years. The prominent feature here is the Hall of the Elements. It's our primary location for lectures, practice sessions, and general meetings. The Arcanium is located above the hall, and the Archmage's quarters above that. While technically in charge of the college, the Archmage's responsibilities often keep him occupied. Thus, I run the day-to-day operations. Now, if you'll please follow me, I'll show you the living quarters. Unfortunately, we've had to implement more stringent entry procedures due to some problems with the local Nords. We don't anticipate any real violence, but it never hurts to be prepared.
Imagine how this city was in its golden years. Now they can't even be bothered to clear away the rubble.
Our newest members are housed here, in the Hall of Attainment. I'll ask that you please keep your voice down while inside, as others may be working on research or delicate experiments. Now I'll show you to your quarters. You're going to be sharing space with your fellow apprentices, who you'll meet shortly. This is where you'll be staying. This bed and desk are yours. Please try and be considerate of others. Now, let's go back.
Never thought I'd find myself within these walls. This place is more impressive than the Blue Palace.
Initially, you'll be learning from Tolfdir, one of our most esteemed wizards. Tolfdir is likely already addressing the new apprentices. Go on in, and if you have any problems, let one of our senior members know.
Welcome, welcome. We were just beginning. Please, stay and listen. So, as I was saying, the first thing to understand is that magic is, by its very nature, volatile and dangerous. Unless you can control it, it can and will destroy you.
Sir, I think we all understand that fairly well. We wouldn't be here if we couldn't control magic.
Of course, my dear, of course. You all certainly possess some inherent natural ability. That much is not being questioned. What I'm talking about is true control, mastery of magic. It takes years, if not decades, of practice and study.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's get started.
Please, please. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Eagerness must be tempered with caution, or else disaster is inevitable.
But we've only just arrived here. You've no idea what any of us are capable of. Why not give us a chance to show you what we can do?
You've been quiet so far. What do you think we should do?
I think we should learn something practical.
Is that so?
See, she agrees with us too. Why don't you actually show us something?
All right, let's settle down. I suppose we can try something practical. In continuing with our theme of safety, we'll start with wards. Wards are protective spells that block magic. I'll teach you all a ward, and we'll see if you can successfully use it to block spells, all right? Would you mind helping me with a demonstration? Are you at all familiar with ward spells?
I already know it and already know how to use it.
Well, then this should be no problem at all for you. Now, if you'll just stand right over there, I'll cast a spell at you, and you block it with the ward. Here we go. Over there, please. Just up. At me. Wouldn't want anyone else in the way. Now, cast the ward spell and keep it up. You have to keep your ward up, or else this won't work. I don't want to hurt you. Over there, please, just opposite me. Wouldn't want anyone else in the way. Now, cast the ward spell and keep it up.
What you learn here will last you a lifetime.
Excellent work.
Several, if you're talented.
Well, I think this is an excellent start. I'd like you all to continue practicing with wards, please. I think perhaps we're ready to begin exploring some of the various applications of magic throughout history. The college has undertaken a fascinating excavation in the ruins of Sarthal nearby. It's an excellent learning opportunity. I suggest we meet there in a few hours and see what awaits us inside. That's all for now. Thank you.
Still no word from your family?
No, and I'm not expecting any.
Really? That must be so nice. I came all the way to Skyrim just to get away from my family's expectations.
My family didn't really approve of me coming here at all.
Oh, well that's awkward. Sorry to have brought it up. You know, this is one of a very few places where you can receive a real education in the schools of magic. Before you even ask, yes, I have an ancestry steeped in magic, and no, I don't want to talk about it. Yes, I know Winterhold used to be full of my kind, and no, I don't care that they're all gone now. Does that cover everything?
We haven't really been introduced.
No, I suppose we haven't. Brillina Marion of House Telvanni. First of my family to leave Morrowind in a long time. Now I'm here to study conjuration. That's what's important.
Do you know anything about Sarthal?
Not really. Just that it's very, very old. It was one of the first cities of men in Tamriel, I think.
Do you like it here at the college?
So far. If only because no one is telling me how great I ought to be. I just want to learn. I don't want to think about what's expected of me.
Winterhold used to be full of dark elves.
Didn't you know? Before the Oblivion Crisis, many elves called Winterhold their home. More visited the college from Morrowind every year. After, growing distrust of magic made life difficult for many. Some left rather than endure the growing hatred from the local Nords. Others returned home after the Red Year, when Vardenfell erupted and caused much destruction. Winterhold itself died in the years between then and now. What's left out there is a husk. Only the college really remains. I'd better get going.
You are relatively new here, are you not? I have noticed you, but we have not spoken.
No, sir.
Sir? How quaint. I am Savos Arin, Archmage of the College of Winterhold. I am quite content to see nearly any aspect of magic explored and investigated here. But I do not and will not approve of any research or experiments that cause purposeful harm to your fellow members of the college. Are we clear?
Dangerous research must be a problem here.
Not often, no. Some risks must be taken to be sure. I am simply trying to avoid untimely deaths. We also must make an effort to avoid worsening what Skyrim thinks of us.
What's the purpose of the college?
Purpose? I should think it's self-evident. Magic is a true power, not something to be shunned by commoners or treated as an amusing diversion by politicians. It shapes worlds, creates and destroys life. It deserves proper respect and study. The college is a place where we can focus on that, without the pressures of the world weighing down on us.
I'd like to know more about the college's history.
I've seen documents dating back to the late Second Era. Beyond that, it's hard to say. Events in the last several hundred years resulted in a significant loss of our history, I'm afraid.
What happened in the last few hundred years?
The Great Collapse, as it has come to be known. An unfortunate natural disaster that ravaged the area. The college fared far better than the city of Winterhold, but it was not left untouched.
What caused the Great Collapse?
No one is sure of the cause. Some believe the eruption of Red Mountain had far-reaching consequences that were only felt years later. I know there are some who have blamed the college, said that we were responsible. I assure you this is not the case.
Tell me more about the Great Collapse.
The Sea of Ghosts practically came alive. No one was expecting it. Monstrous waves battered the shore for weeks on end. Winterhold was ancient and weathered, but it couldn't withstand the sea's fury. Entire districts of the city were lost overnight. The waves receded in time, but the damage was irreversible. Most residents of Winterhold abandoned what was left of the city. The college survived, and so here we remain. All right then.
You there. You're not going anywhere. You seem familiar. Ah, yes. Kaidan, isn't it? You are wanted by the Aldmeri Dominion for questioning.
Whatever you think, or no, I don't care. My companion is a student of this college, and I will not tolerate any threats to them or myself.
And what, pray tell, do you plan on doing about it? I may be stationed at the College of Winterhold, but I still report to the Aldmeri Dominion. And I intend to.
You might report me to the Dominion, but who's to say you'll be alive by the time the letter reaches them?
Fine, return to your business.
Your classes weren't really what I was expecting. Tolfdir talking about caution and control. And what was it? Wards and that. I figured lessons might be more about...
Soul stealing and blowing things up?
The long and short of it, yeah. That's Bobby's lessons 2 and 3.
We're headed for the Sarthal excavation soon.
Sarthal? The first city established by men in Tamriel? I can't believe they actually found it.
Could be dangerous. There wouldn't be a problem with you coming along as backup.
I suppose you'll need someone watching your back while you're studying rocks and rifling through bones. Could be a lot of Draugr buried down there after all. Well, it's not the first ruin we've delved into. Who knows what was left behind there? Warrior Stone. Now this is my kind of power stone, and the only one you really need in my opinion. That's good shelter.
provided we clear out whatever's inside.
Aren't you worried someone will wander in here? The entrance isn't exactly hidden, you know.
This again? I told you, we have someone standing guard out there. And don't forget the rock trap we rigged up. So, stop your worrying and get some rest. Your shift is coming up and I don't want you dozing off again like last time.
Is someone there? I heard something. What's this bridge going down? I thought we had a guard posted outside.
We did. Keep your eyes peeled. I don't think we're alone. You check the entrance. I'm going to look over here.
I will take great pleasure in putting the bastard down.
Thought I heard something.
I'm ending this right now! Win this!
What was that? Nothing here after all. I'll show you what a real orc can do.
Will not walk away alive. My blade is unsheathed.
That's it?
Oh, coward!
Why do bandits insist on pissing on the walls? What are the fucking buckets for?
Poor fucking bastard. The solitude of being in the open wilds.
From what I hear, you're the one gave them.
Good to see you. Yes, what is it that you want? Teach them to stop paying me. Here, you deserve a reward for your service. You know what? I like you. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty. I hereby grant you permission to purchase property in Falkreath Hold. Talk to my steward if you're interested.
Is there anything else you need, my Jarl?
There is room in my court for a new Thane. It's an honorary title mainly, but there are a few perks someone like you could make use of.
Good dog.
However, I could only grant the title to someone who is known throughout my hold. You help my people, and I'll make you my Thane.
It would be an honor.
On your way, then.
I've helped your people.
Then by my right as Jarl, I name you Thane of Falkreath. Congratulations. I grant you a personal housecarl, and this weapon from my armory to serve as your badge of office. I'll also notify my guards of your new title. Wouldn't want them to think you're part of the common rabble now.
Does your inexperience make your job difficult?
Difficult? I'm a Jarl. I eat the most succulent meat, drink the finest ale, and hunt with the best hounds in the hold. Meanwhile, my very capable steward sees to the needs of the small folk, and ensures that my hold runs smoothly. Being a Jarl could hardly be simpler. You should try it sometime.
How did you become a Jarl while so young?
My uncle Dengir was Jarl until a short time ago. His old age and failing health caught up with him, and he stepped down. He now serves us honorably as Thane, and to the great benefit of the hold, I now serve as Jarl. Come and see me again sometime. I might have some use for you.
The Jarl has appointed me to be your housecarl. It's an honor to serve you. Until next time.
I'm the steward here. I serve under Jarl Siggeir and Jarl Dengir before him.
I'd like to purchase a house.
There's no house available, but I could sell you a fine piece of land where you could build your own house.
I'll take it.
You won't regret it. Here's the title to your steading. Follow the road east from Falkreath, then north at the crossroads. Turn left just past Pine Watch. May wisdom forever light your path.
I used to be an adventurer like you. And I took an arrow in the knee.
I often wonder if this place is disturbed by the spirits of its dead.
That can't be good.
Oblivion, take Barrier, watch! Ow!
Your end draws near.
Shit.
Is it too forward of me to come out and say that I like you?
I like you too, Kaidan.
You're great, you know. I just, I thought you should know that.
I appreciate that. Kaidan, are you flirting with me? Because that's what this
Is
feels
that what
like.
you're calling it, eh? Well, if you see it like that, then yes, I am.
I don't mind that at all, actually.
Then maybe I could kiss you.
Maybe you should...
If this is a dream, don't wake me up. What can I do for you?
How do you feel about me?
You bring hope to a world-weary heart.
Let's rest here.
Aye, I think we've earned it.
Everything all right?
I'm sorry, I'm feeling unhinged today. How about you?
I'm not doing so well.
Do you want to talk about it?
I'm sorry that every day your life is at risk because of me.
I'm your friend. Tell me who or what I must slay, what I must steal. Tell me the puzzles I must solve or the long journeys we must take, and I will do it all. No matter the danger, no matter the hardship, and no matter the cost.
Come on, let's get going.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Poem of Tohan, excerpt number 1. Tohan the Great, a man once renowned for the might of his sword and the fire in his heart. He rid the world of many evils, those we cannot see. The evil around us, the darkness that will ever be. He fought his foes with steel and spell, keeping the ones he loved from harm. Though his brave deeds and his mighty heart, none of his words are sung today by the bards. Greatest of men, Tohan with a kind soul. He protected the weak and smote the unclean. His deeds were lost into unknown. Now may his actions be seen. Now may his story be told. Poem of Tohan, excerpt number 2. And only when from the south a fierce elfin king came did Tohan meet defeat, but he did not give his scalp to claim. He went back to his hearth, heavy now his heart. He hung not his head in shame, but grasped his hammer in hand. At the fires he told, through a darkest night, and from mighty adamantium he forged a helm to protect his crown. When done, the craftsman kissed the steel and transferred to it a blessing, so all who watched him in awe then knew the helm of Tohan was born. 36 Lessons of Vivek, Sermon 12. As the Hortator pondered the first lesson of ruling kings, Vivek wandered into the morning hold and found that Iam was with a pair of lovers. Set had divided himself again. Vivek then leapt through into their likeness to observe, but he gained no secrets that he did not already know. He left a few of his own behind to make the journey worthwhile. Then Vivek left the capital of Veloth and wandered far into the ash. He found a span of badlands to practice his giant form. He made of his feet a less dense material than the divine to keep from falling waist deep into the earth. At this point, the first corner of the House of Troubles, the Prince Molag Bal made his presence known. Vivek looked upon the King of Rape and said, "How very beautiful you are, that you do not join us." And Molag Bal crushed the warrior poet's feet, which were not invulnerable, and that legions cleaved them off. Mighty fires from the beginning place were brought like nets to hold Vivek, and he let them. "I would prefer," he said, "some kind of ceremony if we are to be married." And the legions that took the feet were summoned again and ordered to begin a banquet. Pomegranates sprang from the Badlands and tents were raised. A throng of Elathi mystics came, reading the passages of the severed feet on the ground, and weeping until the scriptures were wet. "We must love each other briefly," Vivek said. "If at all, I am needed to counsel the Hortator in more important matters, because the Dwemer high priests stir up trouble. You may have my head for an hour." Molag Bal rose up and extended 6 arms to show his worth. They were decorated in runes of seduction and its reverse. They were decorated in the annotated calendars of longer worlds. When he spoke, mating monsters fell out. "Where must it go?" he said. "I told you," Vivek said. "I am meant to be the teacher at the King of the Earth. E alta dun gartak padame." With these magic words, the King of Rape added another, Chim, which is the secret syllable of royalty. Vivek had what he needed from the Daedroth, and so married him that day. In the hour that Baal had his head, the King of Rape asked for proof of love. Vivek spoke 2 poems to show him such, but only the first is known. "I'm not sure just how much glass it took to make your hair. Twice as much, I'm sure, as the oceans have to share. Hell, my sweet, is a fiction written by those who tell the truth. My mouth is skilled at lying, and its alibi a tooth. Sons and daughters of Vivek and Molag Bal number in the thousands. The name of the mightiest is a string of power. Golga Morgil Chait El Hum. The ending of the words is Amsivi. A Dubious Tale of the Crystal Tower by Bibenius Galen. This story was first told to me when I was a neonate, really studying in the Crystal Tower of Somerset. I was admiring the famous animal pens of the tower when I was approached by an older student. The fellow who told me this tale seemed very trustworthy at first, but as the reader will soon discover, the tale is very dubious indeed. Of course, I have told it since to other neonates of the tower in the same spirit. I offer the following for your august consideration, gentle reader. Many, many years back, a talented but poor bard was passing through Somerset, looking for work. He could sing, he could dance, he could act, but no one had any use for his performances. The poor bard was lugubrious, but he still visited the taverns and palaces, day after day, begging for a chance to showcase his talents. One day, dejected from more bad luck, he was approached by a tall elf in a long robe, the magister of the Crystal Tower, in charge of the animal pens. The elf tells the bard of a white ape they made a cell for at the tower, how it had died en route. There was a royal party from Firsthold visiting who had been promised a glimpse of the rare white ape. The magister had a costume for the bard if he would deign to act out the part of the ape for the visitors. The bard had promised himself to take the first part that came his way, no matter how minor, so he agreed. The elf promised that the charade would last no more than a fortnight, when the visitors left. The first several days of the masquerade, the bard did nothing more than sit in the back of his pen. He was afraid to move and show the possible imperfections of the ape costume. In time, he became bored and began walking around. He suddenly noticed that the royal party was watching, fascinated. Happy that the ruse was working, he decided to enliven the act. Soon he had both a performance and a crowd. Instead of dancing a traditional elven jig, he would swing around the cell with every acrobatic trick he knew. Instead of singing a ballad, he would roar a roar he imagined a rare white ape might roar. The crowd loved it. The party outside the cell grew larger and larger every day. One day when he was performing for the crowd, his finest work to date, he swung himself round and round, roaring and bleeding. His hand slipped, and he went flying through the bar and into the cell next door, where a snow wolf was in residence. Hackling its back and growling, the snow wolf began to inch toward the bard. Seeing no other way out, the bard screamed, "Help! Help!" And the snow wolf whispered, "Shut up, or you'll get us all fired."
Mythic Dawn Commentaries, Volume 1. Commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes, Book 1, by Mankar Cameron. The first book read by initiates to the Mythic Dawn cult. Dagon. Greetings, novitiate, and know first a reassurance. Mankar Cameron was once like you, asleep, unwise, protonymic. We mortals leave the dreaming sleep of birth the same, unmantled save for the symbiosis with our mothers, thus to practice, and thus to reproach with, until finally we might through new eyes leave our hearths without need or fear that she remains behind. In this moment, we destroy her forever, and enter the demesne of Lord Dagon. Reader, this book is your door to that demesne, and though you be a destroyer, you must still submit to locks. Lord Dagon would only have those clever enough to pause. All else, the Orbis claims in their fool running. Walk first. He, the impatience you feel, is your first slave to behead. Enter as Lord Dagon has written. Come slow and bring 4 keys. Know that then you are royalty, a new breed of destroyer, whose garden shall flood with flowers known and unknown, as it was in the mythic dawn. Thus shall you return to your first primal wail, and yet come out different. It shall this time be Neonimbiosis, master akin to master, whose mother is Miasma. Every quarter has known us, and none bore our passing except with tremble. Perhaps you came to us through war, or study, or shadow, or the alignment of certain snakes. Though each path matters in its kind, the prize is always thus. Welcome, novitiate. That you are here at all means that you have the worthiness of kings. Seek thy pocket now, and look. There is the first key, glinting with the light of a new dawn. Night follows day, and so know that this primary insight shall fall alike unto the turbulent evening sea, where all faiths are tested. Again, a reassurance. Even the usurper went under the iliac before he rose up to claim his fleet. Fear only for a second. Shaken belief is like water for a purpose. In the garden of the dawn we shall breathe whole realities. Enter, as Lord Dagon has written. Come slow, and bring 4 keys. Our order is based on the principles of his mighty razor. Novitiate, questing knight, chaplain, and master. Let the evil ones burn in its light as if by the excess of our vision. Then shalt our knowledge go aright. However, recall that your sight is yet narrow, and while you have the invitation, you have not the address. My own summons came through a book Lord Dagon himself wrote in the deserts of rust and wounds. Its name is the Mysterium Xarxes, Admiratada Aggregate, forefather to the wife of all enigma. Each word is razor-fed and secret, thinner than cataclysms, tarnished like red drink. That I mention it at all is testament to your new rank, my child. Your name is now cut into its weight. Palace, hut, or cave, you have left all the fog worlds of conception behind. Numantia, liberty, rejoice in the promise of paradise. Endlessly it shall form and reform around you. Deeds as entities, all systems only an hour before they bloom to zero sums, flowering like vestments, divine raiment worn to dance at Lord Dagon's golden feet. In his first arm a storm, in his second the rush of plagued rain, the third all the tinder of Arnhem, the fourth the very eyes of Padhon. Feel uplifted in thine heart that you have this first key, for it shall strike high and low in the worm-rot of false heavens. Roaring I wandered until I grew hoarse with the gospel. I had read the mysteries of Lord Dagon, and feeling anew went mad with the overflow. My words found no purchase until I became hidden. These were not words for the common of Tamriel, whose clergy long ago feigned the very existence of the dawn. Learn from my mistakes. Know that humility was Mankar Cameron's original wisdom. Come slow, and bring 4 keys. Offering myself to that daybreak allowed the girdle of grace to contain me. When my voice returned, it spoke with another tongue. After 3 nights, I could speak fire. Red drink, razor-fed, I had glimpsed the path unto the garden, and knew that to inform others of its harbor, I had to first drown myself in Search's sea. Know ye that I found my fleet, and that you are the flagship of my hope. Greetings, novitiate. Mankar Cameron was once you, asleep, unwise, protonymic, but am no more. Now I sit and wait to feast with thee on all the worlds of this cosmos. Numantia, liberty. Mythic Dawn Commentaries, Volume 1. Commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes, Book 1, by Mankar Cameron. Mythic Dawn Commentaries, Volume 4. Commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes, Book 4, by Mankar Cameron. The fourth and final book read by initiates to the Mythic Dawn cult. Gartok. May the holder of the fourth key know the heart thereby. The Mundux Terran was once ruled over solely by the tyrant Dryad kings, each to their own dominion, and border wars fought between their slave oceans. They were akin to the time totems of old, yet evil and full of mockery and profane powers. No one that lived did so outside of the sufferance of the Draigs. I give my soul to the Magna Gay, saith the joyous in paradise, for they created Mehrunes the Razor in secret, in the very bowels of Lig, the domain of the upstart who vanishes. Though they came from diverse waters, each Get shared sole purpose, to Artifice, Prince of Good, spinning his likeness in random swath, and imbuing him with Oblivion's most precious and scarce asset, hope. Deathlessly I intone from paradise, Mehrunes the thief-taker, Mehrunes God's body, Mehrunes the red arms that went up, Numantia, liberty. Deny not that these days shall come again, my novitiates. For as Mehrunes drew down Lig and cracked his face, declaring each of the 19 and 9 and 9 oceans free, so shall he crack the serpent crown of the Cyrodiils and make federation. All will change in these days as it was changed in those. For with by the magic word Numantia a great rebellion rose up, and pulled down the towers of Kaimel Garieg, and the Templars of the upstart was slaughtered, and blood fell like dew from the upper wards down to the lowest pits, where the slaves with maniacal faces took chains and teeth to their jailers, and all hope was rushfire. Your dawn listens, my lord. Let all the Orbis know itself to be free. Mehrunes is come. There is no dominion save free will. Suns were riven as your red legions moved from Lig to the hinterlands of Chill, a legion for each Get, and Kuri was thrown down, and Diath was thrown down, and Hormagail was crushed with cold salt, and forevermore called Hor, and so shall it be again under the time of Gates. Under the miles, Malbios was thrown down, that old city of chains, slaked in new-born warmth and set free. Galeg and Morgaleg were thrown down together in a single night of day, and shall it be again under the time of Gates. Nothing but woe for Nirn, which has become the pit, and 7 curses on its drag, the Vermai Nimok. But for it the Crusades would be as my lord's creation. Get by the gay, and do as thou wilt, have no fetters but your own conscience. Know that your hell is broken, people of the Orbis, and praise the Numantia, which is liberty.
I don't know much about this stuff. I just keep it safe.
I have finished tending to my brother's burial. I thank you for allowing me that. I am ready to discuss my punishment.
I see you made it back as well.
Of course, I may have been blind in this situation, but I do have a code of honor. I am ready to face whatever punishment you deem necessary.
My friend, might I have a word with you first? Good. My friend, might I have a word with you first?
Certainly.
What would be your intended punishment for Avram's oversight?
I am not holding any of this against him. It was Jalal's doing.
I think that is most sensible. Avram feels horrible about the whole ordeal, and even though his brother is a thief, he did lose him in the process as well.
Oh, you are forgiving my part in all this?
Yes, as annoying as this was, it's not really your fault.
Oh, thank you so much. I swear I will be redoubling my efforts to securing the museum. Thank you again for your understanding. I found something amongst Jalal's personal effects, tucked away in Engelman's Rest, which I would like you to have. It was a sword of our father, Avram. With Jalal dead, it passes to me, and I would like you to have it.
That is kind of you. I'll display it proudly.
It is the least I can do for you in repayment for your forgiveness. A true repayment will be to ensure it never happens again.
Ah, phew! Glad we got everything back. Makes me feel better we can trust Avram with watching over this museum.
What can this one do for you?
We received a shipment from elsewhere this week, and I thought you might enjoy a little taste of home.
What's this? Oh, sugared cuttlefish. It has been many years since Latoria has had this. Not since her littermates were still together. Thank you, Orion. This is very thoughtful of you.
Enjoy this place?
Not at all. Also, that mithril filigree you were wanting arrived in the order as well.
Oh, fantastic. Latoria can now finish the choker she was working on.